All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Athenian Stranger tutorial video where today we are going to learn about some triangle theorems. Well, this is exciting. Let's turn to this page in the packet and make sure that you're looking at the page that has Triangle Angle Sum Theorem written here at the top. Let's figure out what all this stuff is and get on to doing some cool problems. Okay, so first it says the sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is 180. That's something you probably learned when you were younger, but maybe you didn't know that it was called the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. So this theorem says that whatever the angles of the triangle are, they all add up to 180. So here the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C all add up to 180. All right, so go ahead and write 180 degrees. I should be saying degrees. Okay, so that's the triangle angle sum theorem. Pretty straightforward. You already probably knew that. All right, so let's move down the page a little bit. This has always been one that I've found somewhat less intuitive. Here is the exterior angle theorem. And let's see what it says. An exterior angle is formed by extending any one side of the triangle. Okay, so that's what they've done here. They had this bottom leg here and they just extended it out like this. They extended out this ray here. So it says here, an exterior is always equal to the sum of the two non-adjacent interior angles. Non-adjacent. What does this mean? What it means is, you look at this exterior angle right here, this exterior angle of this one that they've called 1. And what the exterior angle theorem says is that this angle measurement, whatever this angle measurement is, it is equal to the sum of these two angles that are non-adjacent. Okay, this angle right here that they didn't number, this is the adjacent angle right here. These over here, these are non-adjacent angles, angles 2 and 3, because they're not close to the one that's labeled 1. They're kind of on the other side of the triangle. These are non-adjacent angles. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure, we'll just write M and then angle symbol, looks like this. Kind of looks like a less than symbol, right? Measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3. Just like that. Well, that's really interesting. And actually, before I saw this, I'm not sure that I knew that. You know, that's an interesting little tidbit that we might be able to use here in the next section. Directions. Find all missing angles. Well, that was pretty straightforward. Let's see what they want. In number 1, the angle theorem that we're going to need is the first one, the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. Okay? And we remember what that means is if you add up all the interior angles of a triangle, they have to add up to 180. So, of course, like any math problem, there's something missing. They give us 2 of the angles, but this angle's missing. This angle 1 is missing. Well, all you have to do is add these up and subtract that sum from 180. So let's see what 24 plus 37 is. Okay, I'm bad at math. I can't do it in my head. So let's add these up. 4 plus 7 is 1, carry the 1. And then 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 1 is 6. All right, so the sum of those two angles is 61 degrees. And now I have to subtract 61 from 180. So now we'll do 180 minus 61. And whatever that is, whatever that difference is, that's our answer. Uh-oh, I can't take a 1 from a 0, so I have to borrow from the 8, turn that into a 7, and turn that 0 into a 10. Now 10 minus 1 is 9. 7 minus 6 is 1. And this 1 over here just comes right down. So the missing angle should be 119 degrees. All right? And we should always write what theorem we use. So we use the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, the TAST, the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. That's how we can prove that. All right, number 2. Right away, it looks like the Exterior Angle Theorem. So what that said was, this angle right here, angle 1, we don't know what it is, but it's equal to the sum of these two non-adjacent angles. So all I've got to do is add up 76 and 52, and I've got my answer. According to the Exterior Angle Theorem. Oh, I like this one, EAT. I like to eat. EAT, the Exterior Angle Theorem. Try to say that 6 times. Exterior Angle Theorem, right? So let's add up 76 and 52. 76 and 52. Okay, so 6 plus 2 is 8, and 7 plus 5 is 12. So by my math, the sum of those two non-adjacent interior angles is 128 degrees, and that's the measure of angle 1. This is 128 degrees. That is a really cool trick. 128 degrees by the Exterior Angle Theorem. Okay, number 3. Okay, right away we see this leg sticking out here. Ooh, so we're going to look for one of the non-adjacent interior angles, but they give us the exterior angle. Ooh, so we're going to have to work backwards. So what that means is that this is the angle we want to know. So what we have to know is that 104 is equal to 79 plus whatever angle 1 is. And I'm going to go ahead and call that x. Uh-oh, the guy's throwing x in. It's turned into an algebra problem. Yep, it has. So if I want to get x by itself now, I just have to subtract 79 from both sides. Another subtraction problem. It's one of those things you haven't done since like 3rd grade. So here we go. We can't take 9 from 4, so we borrow. Uh-oh, the 0 is there. You have to keep going. So this becomes 0, this becomes 9, and this becomes 14. All right, so 14 minus 9, that's 5. 9 minus 7, that's 2. So by my math, x equals 25. All right, so this angle right here, this guy right here is 25 degrees. Neat. This is 25 degrees. I like this exterior angle theorem, and that's the one we use, the EAT, Exterior Angle Theorem. Just think, how'd your teacher get so big? Well, he eats, right? The Exterior Angle Theorem. All right, number 4. Number 4. Oh my gosh, my head is exploding. I have no idea. All right, so number 4, the measure of angle 1, that's this one. What is that? Well, in order to find that, we're going to have to apply some different stuff here. So the measure of angle 1, we're going to apply the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, which says that all the interior angles of this little kind of looking weird little high, like a TP triangle here, looks like a pyramid or something, that all these interior angles have to add up to 180. So what I need to do is add up 66 and 84 and then subtract that from 180. So here we go. 66 plus 84. Okay, so plus 6 plus 4, that's 10. Carry that 1. 6 plus 8 is 14 plus 1 is 15. So these two angles add up to 150. And now I just have to take 150 away from 180. Got to subtract 150 from 180. And that's easy. That gives me 30 degrees. So I claim that by the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, that angle 1 is, the measure of angle 1 is 30 degrees. This is 30 degrees. All right, now what do we got to do for angle 2? Oh boy. So we're going to need to know this 30 degrees, I think, in order to answer this question. So this is 30 degrees. Now, how does that help us? So we need to know what angle 2 is. And here's how we're going to figure it out, guys. Here's how we're going to figure it out. I think I know how to do this. So I think for this, we're actually going to be looking at this bigger triangle right here, right? We're going to be looking here at this bigger triangle. See? And so what do we know about this bigger triangle? We know that down here in this corner, it's 66 degrees. All right, the angle over here is 43 degrees. And we know that part of this angle, part of this huge angle right here, is 30 degrees. So here's what I'm going to suggest, and I actually don't know if this is right. If we add up 66 plus 43 plus 30, and we subtract that from 180, then we'll find angle 2 using the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. So that's what we're going to do, Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. Oh, this is getting interesting. Now, these are all about food. This is taste, and this is eat. Well, that's cool. So let's see what we got to do here. 66 plus 43, that's my first little calculation. 66 plus 43. Well, I guess we can add 30 into the mix too. 66 plus 43 plus 30. We can stack add multiple numbers like that. So 6 plus 3 plus 0 is 9. And 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 3 is 13. So this all adds up to 139. Now what I claim by the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem is that if I take 139 away from 180, if I subtract 139 from 180, I will have the rest of this angle. Because I've already got part of it. I just want the rest of it. So let's subtract 139 from 180 and see what we get. And I am absolutely not looking at the key. If this is wrong, you're going to see me get it wrong live on camera. All right, so now let's do this. I can't take 9 from 0, so I'll borrow from the 8, turn it into a 7. Okay, this 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 7 minus 3 is 4. And 1 minus 1, that's 0. So what I'm claiming is that angle 2 is 41 degrees. All right, was I right? Now I'm going to look over here at the key, and yes, this is correct, 41 degrees. Okay, that's a relief. Now, angle 3. Well, angle 3, this one's this right here, this guy right here. We don't know what angle 3 is. We can actually solve this in two different ways. We could use the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem because we know this angle is 43, and we prove by the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem that this angle is 41, so that this triangle, now I need another color. You know, who knew geometry is going to be all about coloring? Now I'm looking at this triangle here, this one here. I'm not worried about the guy over to the left. I'm just looking at this triangle here. All right. I know 2 of those interior angles, and all the interior angles have to add up to 180. So I could do 41 plus 43, see what that is, and subtract it from 180. But I could also use the Exterior Angle Sum Theorem, which says that 84 has to be equal to 41 plus 43. Well, I guess, why would I do that? I don't need that. What I need is the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, this one, the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. So eat the Exterior Angle Theorem. That doesn't really help me find out what angle 3 is. But you know what I could use, just thinking out loud, this angle that's 84 and this angle 3 form a linear pair. Okay, see how that is? They're adjacent angles. So that means that 84 plus whatever this is has to equal 180. So let's do this 2 ways. Let me use this linear pair thing that says that these two should add up to 180. So let's do 180 minus 84. I want to show this to you 2 different ways because there's multiple ways to figure this out. 180 minus 84. So we're going to take away that 0, take this, turn it into a 7, turn that 0 into a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6, 7 minus, well, I can't do that. because now I've messed up. I have to borrow from the 1 as well. Turn this into a 0, turn this into a 17, and this into a 10. Okay. 17 minus 8, that's 9. So this should be, 3 should be 96. All right? Angle 3 is 96. That's on that linear pair thing. What I'm looking at there for the linear, that this thing here divides these two angles, and that 84 plus angle 3 have to be 180. Okay, so I come up with 96. Let's see if that holds using this other theorem here, the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. 41 plus 43. Let's find out what that is. 41 plus 43. Okay, that is 1 plus 3 is 4, and 4 plus 4, that's 8. Okay, so these add up to 84. Look at that. So by the Exterior Angle Sum Theorem, by the Exterior Angle Theorem, 41 plus 43 equals 84, and it does. Okay, so now I can use the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem to say that all these interior angles have to add up to 180, so 180 minus 84, which we just did, will give us the answer, 96. I like that. So there were two different ways to get there. Nice. 96 degrees. Okay, let me check the key. Key says 96 degrees. I love it. All right. Well, that was interesting. All right, so now we're on to number 5. Number 5, we're asked to find angles 1, 2, and 3. Oh, these are getting really, really interesting. Okay, because right at first glance, I have no idea. Let's deal with angle 1 first. Okay, so here's what we know. We know that this angle right here is 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees because it's a right angle, right? So this is 90 degrees. Now we can apply, I bet you're already ahead of me on this because y'all are all smarter than me, the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, TAST. Right, now I'm getting hungry. We're going to apply the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem and say 90 plus 43, we subtract whatever that sum is, 90 plus 43, subtract it from 180, and we'll get angle 1. Well, let's do that. 90 plus 43. What are you? We're going to add you up. So 0 plus 3 is 3, and 9 plus 4, that's 13. So that adds up to 133. So what I claim by the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem is that this angle right here is going to be whatever 180 minus 133 is. So let's do 180 minus 133. Okay, we're back to having to borrow here. So you borrow from the 8, turn it into a 7. Turn this into a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 7 minus 3 is 4. And so I claim that the measure of angle 1 is 47 degrees by the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem and our knowledge that this little square symbol means that this is 90 degrees. And are we correct? Survey says yes, this is 47 degrees. All right, so now the measure of angle 2. Okay, the measure of angle 2, that's this one right here. I can see us using our supplementary angles theorem that we already learned to figure this out, because I know that 43 plus the measure of angle 2 has to add up to 180. But what else can I do here? What else can I do here? I guess we could do that. We know that angle 1 is 47 degrees. Just trying to see if we could do something more interesting. Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll do it the easy way. So 180 minus 43 will give us angle 2. 180 minus 43. That'll give us angle 2. And here we're using the Supplementary Angles Theorem. Okay, this is because 43 and angle 2 form a linear pair. Okay, so 180 minus 43, borrow from the 8, that becomes a 7. This is a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. And 7 minus 4 is 3. And 1 minus 0 is 1. So I claim angle 2 is 137. Survey says yes, 137. 137 degrees. And now we're on to angle 3. So let me write in what we know here. We know that angle 2 is 137. So now that we know angle 2 and we know that this angle over here is 12 degrees, this little acute angle, see it's 12 degrees, I can use the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, TAST, to figure out what angle 3 is, because the sum of the interior angles of any triangle have to add up to 180. So what I'm saying is angle 2, which is 137, plus this angle 12, 137 plus 12, if I subtract that sum from 180, I'll have angle 3. So I just have to add 137 plus 12. Okay, what is that, 149? Yeah. 149. Okay, now we got 149. We have to subtract that from 180. So 180 minus 149. I should be writing more clearly. Okay, borrow there. 180 minus 140. This becomes a 7. This is a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 7 minus 4 is 3. So I claim that the measure of angle 3, I claim that's 31. Survey says 31 is correct. Okay, so those are the 3 angles there. Look at this, we're filling up the page. If you've ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind, he's got this genius. He has the entire board covered in numbers. That's how this feels. It's just math. Math is happening. It's exciting. Okay? If you're getting excited by this, you should become a math teacher. Okay? Some of your friends are probably looking at you like you're weird. And it's okay to be weird. You can become a math teacher. All right, number 6. Okay, number 6, measure of angle 1. Okay, you tell me, what theorem should we use to figure out what the measure of angle 1 is? Should we use the Supplementary Angles Theorem? Should we use the Exterior Angles Theorem? Or should we use the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem? Okay, I hope everybody is saying TAST, okay, because that is the one we want to use. 61 plus 68, I have to add that up and then subtract that sum from 180, and I'll have angle 1. Okay, 68, 61, 8 plus 1 is 9, and 6 plus 6 is 12, 129. So now I have to subtract 129 from 180. This is fun. I wish algebra was this fun, because I have to teach algebra almost the entire day, but this is actually fun. Okay, so I'm going to have to borrow from the 8, turn it into a 7, make this a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 7 minus 2, that's 5. 1 minus 1, 0. So, I'm going to claim that angle 1 is 51 degrees, and I've written it down without even checking. Let's check. Survey says 51 degrees. So measure of angle 1 is 51 degrees. That is just super exciting. Now the measure of angle 2, ladies and gentlemen, we do not need to use the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, and we do not need to use the Exterior Angle Theorem. What we need to use is we need to focus in on this right here, and you see this X shape? We are going to use the Vertical Angle Theorem. The Vertical Angle Theorem says that angle 2 is equal to the angle that's vertical to it, which is 61. So I claim that measure of angle 2 is 61 degrees. Okay, so this is 61 degrees. Now, here's the true test. Am I right? Yes, I'm right. That's exciting. If you got that too, good for you, okay? Now, for the measure of angle 3, we're just going to apply because now we know angle 2, and we know this over here is 90 degrees. So we're going to apply the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, TAST, to figure out what angle 3 is. So I have to add 90 and 61. Let's do that. We're running out of space here. 90 plus 61. All right, that's 0 plus 1 is 1. 9 plus 6 is 15. So 151. And now angle 3 will be whatever 180 minus 151 is. So let's do 180 minus 151. I see now that I could have used all this open space here, but I thought it was going to be harder, so I was writing in the margins. Wah, wah. Okay, so can't take 1 from 0, have to borrow. Turn that 8 into a 7, and the 0 into a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. 7 minus 5 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I claim that angle 3 is 29 degrees. Was I correct? Yes, I was. 29 degrees. Okay. Oh my goodness. We are now looking at what looks like some kind of monster. Okay, if you play Magic, this card would beat everybody. This is scary. It says here that segment BC bisects. For some reason, whenever I see the word bisects, I always think of bison, like the buffalo. Okay, BC bisects angle ACD. Okay, so I'm hungry, and now I'm thinking about buffalo. Okay, like a bison burger. That sounds good. And unless you're a vegan, in which case it sounds like the worst thing you've ever heard. So segment BC bisects angle ACD. Right? If there was just one more C on the end, it would be ACDC. Then we'd be talking about music. So BC right here. This is bisecting angle ACD. Angle ACD in this huge confusing thing. That's this angle here. Remember what the bisector theorem said. The bisector theorem says that whatever is the bisector, it's going to cleanly separate these two angles here. Angles 2 and 3 will be congruent. All right, so I think we have to use by the angle bisector theorem, ABT, by the angle bisector theorem, the measure of angle 2 will be congruent to, remember that's an equal sign with a squiggly over it, the measure of angle 3. Now, I claim we already know what these measures are because the whole angle, 2 plus 3, is 90 degrees, okay? Because of this little 90-degree symbol down here. So, we just have to do 90 divided by 2, okay, which is 45. So that angle 2 and angle 3 are both 45 degrees. That was a cool power that we just used. That was a good trick. All right, so we know angles 2 and 3 right off the bat. So it was actually easier to not start with 1. So angles 2 and 3 are both 45. Okay, I just checked, that's correct. And let's see what else we need to figure out now. So I bet we're going to be dealing for angle 1, we're going to be doing the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem here on this smaller angle here. The smaller triangle, I should say. Hang on a second. I want to get a different color, if I have it. A different color highlighter. I thought I had one. Maybe I don't. I have a different color marker. Maybe that'll work. So what I'm focused on over here is I'm focused now on this triangle that I'm outlining in blue to get measure of angle 1. I'm focused in on this triangle. Okay? So I'm looking here at the measure of angle 1. The Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, Triangle Angle Sum Theorem, says that if I add up the interior angles of a triangle, they all have to add up to 180. So we know 2 of them. So we know that if we add them together, subtract from 180, we'll get angle 1. So I just have to add 48 and 45. Right? And 8 plus 5 is 13. Carry the 1. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So they add to 93. We subtract 93 from 180, and we get the measure of angle 1. Okay? Let's see here. 180 minus 93 will give us that missing angle 1. Okay, so I can't subtract 3. I have to borrow all the way over. turn that into a 0, turn this 18 and turn this into a 17, and turn this into a 10. Okay, so 10 minus 3 is 7, 17 minus 9 is 8, and 0 minus 0 is 0. So it's 87 degrees. That is what I claim it is. Angle 1 is 87 degrees. And checking the survey, okay, that is 87 degrees. All right, so we just have to find the measure of angle 4, and we are going to be able to do that using the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. Okay, so we have to prove how we did this for each one. We did the Angle Bisector Theorem for these two. And we got TAST, ABT, ABT, and TAST. So the measure of angle 4, this guy right here, and now I'm focused on this small triangle over here. I just have to add up 45 and 83 and subtract that from 180, and I'll get the measure of angle 4. So where am I going to do that? I'll do it in this huge open space I left. I have to add 45 and 83. Sure would be a lot easier with a calculator. Yeah, it would, but then it wouldn't look as cool, right? The paper wouldn't be covered in math. So this is old school, guys. 45 plus 83, 5 plus 3 is 8, and 4 plus 8 is 12, 128. All right, now all we have to do is subtract 128 from 180. This is so exciting. 180 minus 128. I tell you what, doing this actually makes you remember how to subtract, because you're always going to be subtracting this ones place from a 0. So you're always going to have to borrow. Okay, so I'm going to have to borrow, turn this into a 7, and turn that 0 into a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So I claim it's 52 degrees. Measure of angle 4 is 52 degrees. And the key says that we are on target, 52 degrees. Okay, well that was fun. Just look at the page. It's absolutely covered in mathematics. That is fun stuff. Okay, so we've spent 32 minutes on that one page. Let's turn it over and take a look at the back. Oh my God, it looks terrifying. Oh goodness. Oh my gosh, I feel like we're going to need some scratch paper at this point. Let's see just what number 8 has in store for us. Look at number 11, guys. Just look at it. I'm scared. There are 8 angles that we have to find in number 11. You know, I'm tempted to just skip it, but we won't skip it. We cannot cheat. All right. This is the mission. But first we have to do number 8. So we'll start with the measure of angle 1. That's easy. Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. TAST will give us the measure of angle 1, this guy right here. We add 41 and 75 and subtract from 180. So 41 and 75. Okay, so 1 plus 5 is 6. I got that far because now I'm thinking about number 11. And 4 plus 7 is 11. Any stranger things, 11. So that's 116. I subtract that from 180. So I'll do 180 minus 116. Zero minus 6. Can't do that. I have to borrow. Turn that 8 into a 7. And that 0 into a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 1 is 6. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So I claim that angle 1 is 64 degrees. Am I correct? I have no idea. I haven't turned the page on the key yet. Let's see. Yes, this is 64 degrees. 64 degrees. I'm actually excited because I don't know that I probably knew that. I don't know if I knew how to do that before. Okay, number 2. Number 2. Measure of angle 2. This is going to be fun. So here's the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, This is 90 degrees right here. Here's the chain of reasoning. That's 90 degrees right there, okay? Because that's 90 degrees, the other side of this perpendicular line here is also 90 degrees. So this is 90 degrees. That means that angle 1 and angle 2 have to add up to 90. That's what that means. This is really the Supplementary Angles Theorem, and I'm sure there's some theorem about right angles, but this is the Supplementary Angles Theorem because they have to add up to 180. But we know that these have to add up to 90. Angle 1 plus angle 2 have to be 90 because the other side of the angle is already 90. This is 90. So we just have to subtract 64 from 90. 90 minus 64. Okay, so we're going to borrow. This becomes an 8, and this becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. I claim that the measure of angle 2 is 26 degrees, and I say it loud and I say it proud, and according to the key, I am correct. This is 26 degrees. You have to imagine what's actually happening here. I'm sitting alone in a room talking to myself like a lunatic. And now there's hundreds of people listening to me. Okay, so the measure of angle 3, it's this smaller triangle right here. You know what I find interesting about this is that it's kind of like a chain of reasoning that you have to follow. So you couldn't have gotten here, you know, it's like a puzzle you're putting together. But in this case, we could have done it without any help because we can do the Triangle Angle Sum Theorem. And we know that these interior angles all have to be 180. So we have 54 plus 90. We have to add that up, subtract from 180, we'll get angle 3. Okay, so what is 54 plus 90? Okay, tempted to say 144. Is that correct? 4 plus 0 is 4. 9 plus 5 is 14. It's 144. Okay, so I just need to subtract 144 from 180. 180 minus 144. All right. I have to borrow again. So 8 becomes 7, 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. So I claim, ladies and gentlemen, right now, you heard it here first, I claim the measure of angle 3 is 36 degrees. Am I right? Yes, I am correct. 36 degrees. Okay, so this video is 38 minutes long at this point. We are going to stop right there, all right? Because what I don't want is I don't want these videos to go on too long so they can't be shown inside the length of a class. And you, of course, will not be responsible for doing 9, 10, and 11 since this is still notes. But if we have time, if there's time and you in your class you want to go ahead and figure this out, I will just help you with one thing. This symbol right here means parallel to. Okay? What it means is that line L is parallel to line M. That's what that symbol means. So that should have been written like this. L and then parallel to M. Just so you know what that means. And that will help you in some way, I guess. All right? So we'll stop there and we'll pick this up tomorrow. Now let's see what you can do in your homework. As you have that homework packet, let's see what you can do. This is the homework packet. Homework. Is this homework 2? Is that what we're doing? Yeah, this is homework 2, the angles of triangles. So you should be able to do number 1, number 2, okay, number 3. Here I can see you're going to use the exterior angle theorem. Okay, exterior angle theorem. This one is triangle angle sum theorem. Number 4 you should be able to do. And number 5. Number 6, I would not do just yet because this has got one of those parallel situations. These little symbols right here indicate that they're parallel. And number 7, guys, that just looks like a nightmare, so skip that for now. And we haven't applied the algebra yet, okay? But basically, it's just the same rules we've been learning. Triangle Angle Sum Theorem right here. You could do it. You would say 10x minus 11 plus 3x minus 2 plus 3x plus 1 has to add up to 180. Pardon me. And so you would set that up and solve it algebraically. You'd find x, then you'd plug x back into each one of these, and you'd find the angles that way. So you could do 8, 9, 10, and 11. Looking at the back here, yeah, you could probably do 12. And then 13 through 16 just looks scary and confusing. So if I were you, okay, or if I was your teacher, and in some cases I am, I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for sure tonight, and then I would try doing one of these. All right, if you get stuck, don't worry about it. If I were you, I would use a separate sheet of paper to do this, okay? I would use a scratch sheet of paper so you didn't, because I think you're going to run out of space, especially on these problems. When we get to them, you have too many angles to solve for to do them in this little space, so you're going to need scratch paper. Okay, lest this video run too long, we'll stop right there. Thank you so much for your attention. If you're watching this at home, please consider giving the video a like, all right, if this was helpful to you. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you're always alerted to new videos. And remember this, YouTube, okay? YouTube promotes videos that have comments. So comment on this video so it goes up in the ranks, because I want to hit those subs. I want to get 1,000 so I can sell some merch. All right, thank you very much.